In this video, we'll balance the net ionic equation for CuCl2 plus NH4OH. This is copper-2 chloride, and this is ammonium hydroxide. The first thing we need to do with net ionic equations, we have to balance the molecular equation. This is the molecular equation. I can see I have two chlorine atoms here and just one here. So I'm going to put a 2 in front of the ammonium chloride. Now the chlorines are balanced, but I have these two ammonium ions, NH4. So if I put a 2 here, I'll have two ammonium ions. Now I have two hydroxide ions. But that's good because I have two over here, one copper and one copper. So we've balanced the molecular equation. Now we can write the state for each substance. So chlorides are very soluble. We'll write AQ. That'll dissolve, dissociate into its ions. If you know your solubility rules, the ammonium ion, very soluble. AQ, that'll dissolve. But hydroxides in general are insoluble, with a few exceptions like group 1 elements, or with the ammonium ion, hydroxides are soluble. But here we have this transition metal, so copper-2 hydroxide is insoluble. These two react, forms a solid. That solid's a precipitate. It falls to the bottom of the test tube. So we have the solid precipitate here with the copper-2 hydroxide, then we have ammonium. That's going to be aqueous. So those are the states. Now we can split the strong electrolytes into ions for the complete ionic equation. Let's see. Copper, we don't know the charge, but we do know that chlorine forms 1- ions. We have two chlorines. Copper has to be 2. So we have the Cu2 plus copper 2 ion plus these two chloride ions, Cl-. The ammonium ion here, good one to remember, has a 1+ ionic charge. The hydroxide, that has a 1-. So I have two ammonium ions, and then I'll also have two of these hydroxide ions. And those are the reactants in our net ionic equation. For net ionic equations, we don't split solids apart. So we're just going to write CuOH2. This is the copper-2 hydroxide. Then we'll have two of the ammonium ions and two of the chlorides. So 2 NH4 plus, and then two of the chloride ions, Cl-. That's the complete ionic equation. Now we can cross out these spectator ions. They're on both sides of the complete ionic equation. In the reactants here, I see two chloride ions. I also see it in the products. So that's a spectator ion. We can cross those out. Two ammonium ions here in the reactants, and again, two ammonium ions in the products. Those are spectator ions. We're going to cross those out. What's left? That's the net ionic equation for CuCl2 plus NH4OH. I'll clean this up, write the states. We'll have our net ionic equation. So this is the balanced net ionic equation for copper-2 chloride plus ammonium hydroxide. Charge is balanced. We have this 2+ and then 2 times 1-. That's 2-. So that gives us a net charge of 0. Over here we have a neutral compound, net charge of 0. If you count the atoms up, they're balanced as well. This is Dr. B with the balanced net ionic equation for CuCl2 plus NH4OH. Thanks for watching.